The air hung heavy, thick with grief. Gillie the Kid, a man accustomed to the harsh realities of the streets, found himself wrestling with a pain unlike any other. His son Devin, known to the world as Wanji Cheese, was gone. Taken too soon. Murdered. The weight of that loss pressed down, a suffocating blanket of sorrow and anger. Gillie, known for his sharp wit and streetwise demeanor, was left grappling with a void that no amount of success could fill. The streets whisper, secrets passed in hushed tones. The name Noah Scurry began to circulate, a name previously unknown, now forever linked to the tragedy. Scurry, a young man himself, was said to be responsible for Devin's death. A life taken, another forever stained. The news, a gut punch, sent Gillie reeling, the raw wound of his son's death ripped open once more. The streets had claimed another soul, a grim reminder of the ever-present danger lurking in the shadows. Gillie, a product of these same streets, understood the code, the unwritten rules that governed this world, but understanding offered little solace in the face of such a profound loss. The pain cut deep, a constant reminder of the fragility of life, especially in a world where violence dictated the rhythm of their days. July 2023. The Philadelphia sun beat down on the asphalt, a stifling heat that mirrored the tension simmering in the air. Devin Spady, a young man trying to find his way, found himself on Masher Street. He was there for a brief encounter, a meeting that would have lasting consequences. Gunshots, chaos, a life extinguished. Devin, caught in the crossfire, never stood a chance. An innocent bystander, his life cut short by a senseless act of violence. The streets, once a playground, now a battleground, a place where dreams could be shattered in an instant. Gillie, a man who had seen his share of tragedy, now faced with the unbearable reality of losing his own flesh and blood. The news spread quickly, a shockwave of grief and anger rippling through the community. Devin, known for his infectious smile and kind heart, was gone, a young life full of promise, snuffed out too soon. The streets mourned, a collective groan echoing through the concrete jungle. Another victim claimed by the relentless cycle of violence. Months turned into years. The pain remained, a dull ache in Gillie's heart. Then, a revelation. Noah Scurry, the name whispered on the streets, was confirmed as Devin's killer. The news, delivered with a heavy heart, brought a strange mix of emotions. Anger, sadness, a yearning for justice. But Scurry was already gone, another victim of the streets he had terrorized. Scurry's story was a study in contradictions. A promising athlete, a bright mind with dreams of a future beyond the streets. Yet he was drawn into the darkness, his life a testament to the powerful allure of the streets, a stark reminder that even the brightest lights can be extinguished by the shadows. Gillie, reflecting on Scurry's life and death, saw a reflection of his own son. Both young men, products of a culture that glorified violence, both lost to the same unforgiving streets. The realization weighed heavily on Gillie, fueling his desire to break the cycle of violence that had claimed so many young lives. The deaths of Devin Spady and Noah Scurry stand as a grim testament to the devastating impact of violence on communities. The streets, once a source of life and vibrancy, now a breeding ground for pain and loss. Gillie the Kid, forever marked by the tragedy, has become a vocal advocate against the very culture that claimed his son. His message is one of hope and redemption, a call to action for those trapped in the cycle of violence. Gillie, a man who has stared into the abyss, understands the urgency of the situation. He knows that change is possible, but it requires a collective effort, a commitment to breaking the chains of poverty, despair and violence that bind so many communities. The road ahead is long and arduous, but Gillie the Kid, fueled by the memory of his son, remains steadfast in his pursuit of a better future. A future where the streets no longer echo with the sound of gunshots and the cries of grieving families. A future where young lives are nurtured, not extinguished. A future where hope can finally triumph over despair.